It's been a while since we did a movie review here on Fog Entertainment, so we're looking at Malignant 2021. It was apparently conned as James Wan's return to horror, and I tell you what, there was a lot of similarities in this movie to Saw. Absolutely, you could see them, but I'm not going to get into them now. I'll get into them when it happens. But we do kick off this movie in 1993. We're introduced to Dr. Florence Weaver and her colleagues, Victor Fields and John Gregory. They're treating a violent patient named Gabriel. We're not really too sure about who it is, but we kind of think that it's like a kid at this point. It kills several staff members, and then Dr. Weaver says it's a lost cause and that the cancer must be removed as they knock him out, and it gets dragged. So at this point, you're thinking it's a lost cause. Hold on here. It's killed like three of your staff, and now you're only determining that it's a lost cause. So yeah, wee bit extreme. We then fast forward to 27 years later in 2020. We are introduced to Madison Lake Mitchell, played by Annabelle Wallace. It's weird, Wallace, Annabelle Wallace. It's weird seeing her in brunette fashion, but we're in Seattle. And we're introduced to our abusive husband, Derek. They get into an argument, which is basically because you need to stop having kids and getting my hopes up because you keep miscarriaging, bitch. And then he smashes her head against the wall, and then her head starts to bleed. She doesn't even get it checked out. And then when we were watching it, right, we were questioning why is she not getting it checked out. Plot purposes, that's really the only reason why she was not getting this checked out. She has a nightmare of a person entering the house and killing Derek, but then to her horror, Derek does get killed. But at this point, you think it might be like a supernatural thing. But then she herself gets chased by the demon, knock herself unconscious. She is woke up in the hospital, and her sister arrives. She's called Sydney. Her unborn baby did not survive it, and then they're interviewed by police. Keikoa Shaw and his partner Regina Moss. And at this point, these two, it just spells out Saw to me, and I have no problem with spelling out Saw, but we do get like obviously in Saw you have like the games, and then like you've also got like the detective side of it more or less in every movie, which I do like. I do like that development, and we kind of get it here. Madison reveals to Sydney here though that she was adopted at 8 years old, and she has no memories of her prior life before that. We do see the Seattle Underground. It was interesting finding this out that Seattle used to like have a city underneath, and then they had to build over it because of flooding, or was it a fire? Was it a fire or flooding? Guess both would make sense. But yeah, Madison continues getting dreams, and then she has another vision. So she begins seeing these visions, and she sees Doctor Weaver getting brutally bludgeoned by the killer here. So yeah, absolutely brutal. We then get another killer. No, the killer killing somebody else. We get Doctor Fields getting murdered. Another brutal kill, but the way she describes it, it's as if she was literally there. Because when they burst into the room, they see the fact that the red light for the motel is actually shining in. So obviously, this is going to make them suspicious of her. That she's getting so many accurate details right. I mean, it's just normal for these police officers, these detectives, to figure this out. It absolutely is. And then we do get the detective guy. He manages to work out the location of the final guy when going through the tapes of like the doctors at the facility. But when he gets there, it's too late. The guy's been killed. But during this, we did see that Madison is actually seeing a vision of this whole ordeal. And she's like, "He's behind you." And then this is where it gets weird. So it's not supernatural. Like you're thinking potentially that it's like a supernatural being that's killing these people potentially, but like now there's like a living life form dressed in all black, and then we get like this really um cool chase. In my opinion, I thought this was really cool when you have him like chasing the so-called murderer. We'll call him Gabrielle for the time now. I mean, this it did go on for about 10 minutes this chase, but eventually Gabrielle manages to lose the police officer, which I thought it was a good scene. I'm not gonna sit here and deny it. So Kikoa Shaw, he loses it, and at this point he basically now believes everything that she's saying. But eventually, after all these murders, I think it is time for them to arrest her and put her into jail. We do also see scenes of they visit her mother, well, her adopted mother, and she's like, "Oh, there's video footage here on these tapes that used to speak to Gabriel. Gabriel was a naughty boy. But who the fuck's Gabriel? Nobody knows who Gabriel is at this point." So they believe that she is behind the murders. They arrest her. And meanwhile, her sister visits Sydney, and then she finds out that Gabriel is in fact Emily's parasitic twin, who was a half-formed child appearing out of Emily's back. And this reveal was brutal. She finds this out with her mother. They watch the tape together. But as this is going on, it is revealed that they managed to remove Gabriel's body, except for the brain that was attached to Emily's brain. And obviously they couldn't remove that, or else it would have killed Emily. So they had to just remove everything bar the brain. But yeah, then as we've got Madison in the police station, she basically just starts getting run down by like all these like criminals, which it was a weird scene. It was weird, and I feel like at this point it's kind of where the movie loses me, if I'm being honest. Like, I'm not saying it's horrendous after this point, but I feel like it was a really good take. It was like, because it did remind me of Saw. Like, you've got like the two story arcs going on. The police are trying to figure out what's happening. But I think the reveal that this is actually like a living creature, like a parasitic twin that's attached to the back of her head, I think that's just a little too stupid, in my opinion. I feel like it's ludicrous for that to be a thing. But then we absolutely get one of the biggest like murder scenes of all time. She just kills every single woman prisoner in the cell block, essentially. Well, not cell block, in the actual like prison beneath the thing. And then when they go up, just absolutely kills every single police officer, bar the two detectives, Kikuo Shaw and Regina Ross. But Kikuo Shaw, he gets his arm broke. Regina gets her stomach slashed, so he chases after her. But Gabriel has managed to make it to the hospital. Also, I did forget to mention earlier, how could I forget this, that the biological mother of Madison was actually in her roof space, is mainly the real reason why they arrested her. And it's turned out, well, how could that be happening? But obviously now we know that it's Gabriel that's been taking control of Madison's body. But at this point, Gabriel tries to kill her, and then Gabriel is interrupted by Sydney, and then Gabriel kills Sydney. He's like, "You replaced her," and then it turns out he didn't do that, and now it's Madison taking back control of her body, and then she locks Gabriel in bars, and she's like, "I'll be ready if you promise to escape one day, big man." And then Gabriel sinks back into her head again. Like, how does this even make sense? Like, there's no surgery getting done here, so he's just literally going back into her scalp, and what, her skin's alright with that. I don't know. Ludicrous. 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 But anyway, you know what? Decent enough movie. I feel like it did go a bit batshit crazy about half an hour to go. I feel like the reveal was a bit poor, because this doesn't make a lot of sense. Like, really? Or maybe I'm looking into it too much, guys. It was a bloody movie. It was interesting, but I feel like they could have did a bit more with the reveal, because it seemed like it was supernatural, and then they completely went, no, it's not supernatural, this is real. Just he's possessing her body, even though he's real. He's not really possessed. He's just taking control of her body, because he's actually alive himself. Anyway, wee bit stupid. I'll give it a 6 out of 10. So till next time, peace.